What's up, guys? I just had a crazy ass set, and I can't deal with audiences sometimes. And maybe I should just talk about it now, and then I'll break it down. I just had an ex-girlfriend one time tell me I'm a walking scab and the world is lemon juice, and I just relate to that so much, and that's how I feel. And I just feel like I'm not this world. If I disconnect from it, then obviously I can survive and everything's fine. But I care too much, I care too much, and I put myself in situations that I just shouldn't be, and I should just fucking count my money and shut the fuck up. It's like I go out and do these shows, and sometimes I'm tired, or sometimes I drive really far, and I'm like, why? I don't need the money. All right. I've already made a name for myself. I'm relatively young. I don't have to work anymore. If I lost all my money, I would always be able to live because of the work I've done, the residuals. If I never went to another con, which is very fortunate I have them, I'd still make enough money. So I have money saved. I get money through jobs, and then I have money coming in through my work and investments. So if I never, ever got out of bed again, which sometimes I don't want to, I'm fine. I don't want to lose all my money. I could. If I never worked again, I could just end off my money. If I never worked again and I lost all my money, I would still live because of residuals. So you're saying, why are you saying that? Because I do comedy because I love it. And I feel like it's never been more. Let's look at acting. Acting is great, but it's just like this fucking game of some asshole approving you and another asshole looking at you and saying, oh, is this person right? And an asshole and an asshole and an asshole. And it's like, I don't need your fucking approval, man. I know what I can do. Do you want to work with me or not? That's it, right? But with comedy, it's less of an approval for me because they give me a lot of respect in the world, and so I can go up, and some of it might not be as glamorous as, let's say, being on a movie set or being in a TV show, but they don't overthink it. It's me and the crowd. The crowd laughs. I'm doing my job. But audiences are just getting so booty tickled, enabled, combative, hurt. I just don't. It's not fun for me to fight audiences. It's fun in the moment, but it eats at me. It's just it's like I'm trying to convince you of something. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm trying to tell you things. I'm trying to point out hypocrisies of life. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. And I did a show tonight. I'm going to ask this woman if I can play her message, but I'll ask random audience members. This is a woman I just met, and she's nice to me, and I'll ask her, if I go too far, And this is what she said.
No, I really don't think you went too far. I'm right with you on that shit, because it's always these whiny ass people that come to comedy shows, especially in LA. Is either LA people are scared to laugh, or they're just ready to voice how much they hate life. And it's like, why did you fucking come to a comedy show to be mad? I don't understand that whole logic. And it's just disgusting. And I love that you just kept pushing it, because people need to learn. If you don't like something, just shut the fuck up and go home. Or just let someone do their job. You need to tell somebody while they're on stage you don't like what they're doing. What kind of entitled type shit is that? Anyways, I don't think you went too far. I think that's what the world fucking needs right now. But yeah, I'm super grateful for what you do. And yeah, keep fucking doing you, keeping it real, There's so much lack of that in today's world. People hate the truth, or hate to hear someone else's truth. It doesn't even have to be your truth, but they don't want to hear someone else's truth, and it's really, whatever. You're fucking dope. That is the point of this message.
This is a woman who came to my show, and she came up to me after a show. She came after my show, and she was like, I just love that you push it. In a world of pussies, you push it. And I was just pushing on a show that she was on, and you know, it was just about the material. And then this show tonight, I had some pushback. I felt the heckler, the woman started, and then I pushed back with her, and then another woman jumped in, and another woman jumped in. Fuck it, I'll tell you the story, and then I'll break the heckle down later. Fuck it. Not that this should matter at all, but we're in a world of pussy-ass identity politics, and she's a black woman, so those are like a black woman co-signing a white male piece of shit, like, and the white women that get mad at the jokes, and a black woman likes them. None of that matters to me, but it matters to the stupid idiot world. Like, if I have to go and get every oppressed group to fucking co-sign my jokes when I do jokes, she's just mad because she was enjoying a comedy show and people were just getting butthurt, and they were women jokes. I will go and get every fucking group to co-sign me. And eventually, what happens is, the group that gets mad, they'll just discount that person. They never accept their losses. They never go, okay, well, maybe this person has a fucking point. And that's why we live in a doomed society, because people cannot take L's. Take your fucking lumps, your losses, your L's. People can't admit they're wrong. They're insecure. They're very, very fragile egos. They have crybaby. Oh, Jamie, you have a fragile ego. Yeah, I'm sensitive, but I can talk about anything, and I'll talk to you all night. I value you. And, you know, if you make points about it, I'll take my L. It's one thing I do. I'm very self-aware, and I'm very malleable. But I'm not going to fucking just give in if the point is super valid, unless I, like, need something from you, and I'm like, okay, I'll just fucking give over so I get this fucking job or get this fucking money. You know, I'll just lie to you. Because that's all that matters. If you're not going to accept it, I'm just going to lie to you. That's what I do. That's what we all do, but I do it. You got to lie. People don't want to hear, that's what she said, they don't want to hear your truth. That's why people have been lying the last 2.5 years, because people don't want to accept their truth. They don't want to accept the truth when someone like Sean Penn, a very powerful, iconic figure, says, being unvaccinated is like pointing a gun at someone's head. Now you're going to go, why did I bring that up? Because that's insane to say, especially now. Like, that is not going to age well. And so that's what we're doing at comedy shows. We're doing all this pushback and all this shit, and I'm just so sick of it. And I did this show tonight. I'll just tell you the story. And there was I did my joke. I had like a weird beginning or whatever, and I was having like up and down. I was trying to wake the crowd up and fun, and they were fun, and they was goofing around, and they were hot and cold, and I was fucking good and bad. And, you know, I was like, I'm gonna try some new shit and have fun. So I do my free the nip joke. You know the joke. People that know me know me. Free the nip. It was like women are not gonna be. They're gonna be more mad since the pandemic started. All these protests. It was crazy protests before. Women. There was a whole group of women that marched topless down, 20,000 women. Free the nip. I said, that's a female privilege. You get to take your top off and start a movement. And this woman looked sour. Very beautiful woman. Very regal woman. Seemed very intelligent. Very well spoken. I think she was from England. And she's like, she had a little accent, and she's like, no, I said something. I'm like, you're upset, ma'am. And she's like, just typical misogyny. That's not the accent. That's more Aussie. Just typical misogyny. Yeah. And I said, misogyny? Come on, people. Whoa. I'm like, it's not misogyny. It was a joke. And I didn't get to finish the joke. And so she's like, oh, it's a privilege for me to be able to walk down the street and take my top off. I said, yes, and start a movement. She's like, no, I don't believe it. It was a weird accent. I think she had like a British, New Zealand thing happening. Maybe I'm wrong. And, you know, and then we had like a moment, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, it's a privilege. And she's like, no. And I just looked at her, and then she was like, I just didn't prick. And she's like, what? And then I go to the next part of the joke. I go, men couldn't do that. And I said, you know, come on. If a guy's at work, he's like, hey, Phil, come on over here. He's like, you feel a little bunched up in here? Everything's all jammed up, right? I think it's time we free the tip. It's our tip, our choice. 20,000 dudes marching with the turtle head out on Pico Boulevard. They'd call that the tips erection. We go to jail. Women do it. It's for freedom. Men do it. It's a felony. That's the joke. Big laughs. Then she left. She had a dude there. It was awesome. Very handsome guy. Kind of beefy. Never got involved. Me and this woman were having back and forth argument. He never got involved. I respect that a lot. He let her do her own thing. So then I would do another joke, a little bit more. Then I did another joke about, I said, women always holler at me with shows, and I'm like, women are new men. And I said, I don't care if women want to be a man, go for it. But then you go check the noise in the kitchen. Big, big, big laugh. Huge laugh. And I look over here and I go, how are we doing on the misogyny meter? Big laugh. Another lady, leave her alone. Now, we were going back and forth more than I told you. Leave her alone. I'm like, leave her alone. I'm not attacking her. I'm talking to her. Well, she's had enough. Clearly, she's uncomfortable. But she stepped to me. Like, so now I really didn't feel bad about this woman as being cool. And this white knight gets mad. And then I had another woman just says, just go do your act. So I said, you can't tell me what to do. I'm not your husband. So I have all the tape. I'll react to it. That's just a precursor of a video that's going to come out. I can't tell you the whole thing right now. I'm too tired. I just want to tell you that people's self-awareness is absolute fucking dog shit. People's self-awareness is absolute dog shit. If you see dumb people around you, fucking say something. Say, you're fucking dumb. You are dumb. I almost want to say take their phone and throw it on the ground, but that's probably not legal. You are fucking dumb. Do not enable bad fucking behavior. I get so mad at that. If there's an asshole in the airplane, some guy had his fucking foot right on the armrest, and I fucking saw it. It wasn't a foot, it was his shoe. So I just went like this. I put my arm and went like that, right on his fucking foot. And I didn't even turn around and he moved it. Yeah. I went, put your fucking foot by my chair. Be a fucking human being. Understand where you're at. You're not in your mother's cunt. You're on a public airplane and you're sharing this space with other people. Fuckwad. If you're on an airplane and it's fucking 7 a.m. and no one gets up at that time because they're not losers and you're fucking reading your paper, close your fucking shade because no one wants that sun. If you keep your shade open during a morning flight, you are a dork. Close your fucking shade. If you're a person who talks loud and everyone else wants to sleep, put your own fist in your mouth. That's kind of went off the rails, but that's how I feel comedy shows are. And if you're at a comedy show and you talk to the comedian, don't expect him not to talk back to you. And if the comedian gets heckled and he's dealing with it, don't try to protect the other audience members. These audience members are enabling each other, and it's really pissing me off. I said it all. She's like, this heckler was like, you're clearly making her uncomfortable. I said, what about me? What about my needs? I was uncomfortable when she didn't like my joke and told it wasn't funny. Like, I'm supposed to be bigger than you? I'm supposed to be Jesus Christ? And you're just the fucking victim? Like, and her man was there and she was cool, but she was hanging with herself. She was fine. She was cool. She had a good sense of humor about it. I mean, she started hot and then got a little chilled about it. And then, but this other section started like white knighting for her, or, you know, the white queening for her. And I'm like, she's chill. Like, why? So then I gotta go. Then I like kind of leave her alone. I'm like, what the fuck is, like, give me a break. Like, when you like you're making her uncomfortable. She said, I'm not uncomfortable. Like, it's like, what are you doing? You cannot have it both ways. You either have to fucking have the typical male-female interaction, or if you want to be genderless and everyone's the same, then you're going to have to deal aggression. Happens with males, and you can't play Little Bo Peep, especially when Little Bo Peep wasn't being Little Bo Peep. You're being Little Bo Peep for Peep. Does that make sense? Like, people don't realize what they're doing. Quit fucking with me, because I'm going to fucking expose you, and I'm going to put it on the fucking internet. I'm going to keep doing that, and I don't care. I will keep going. I don't care. I'm not like these others. But here's the thing. I then give it over. If people don't have self-awareness, I then give it over to the crowd. And I'm like, don't say like, leave her alone. Like, it's like, I'm not like in a back alley. I'm in front of a comedy club in front of a bunch of people on a stage, and she's over there. Like, leave her alone sounds like so incentivatory or whatever the fuck the word is. I don't know what the fuck the word is. And so then I asked the other lady who started it, and I said, she still thinks it was a misogynistic joke. So I said, okay, how many people think it was a misogynistic joke? And like a couple people clapped and Crybaby clapped over here. And her like dude clapped. I'm like, you got to turn your dude card in. Big laugh. He was funny. I'm like, you're just trying to hook up. And then when I went back to the original perpetrator, she says, oh, all men. Again, she would not take her L's. I go, no, they're not. So then I had, how many women thought the joke was not misogynist? And a lot of women, yeah. And then she goes, just go, okay, what, maybe I've learned something here. Maybe I'm too stringent on what a misogynistic joke is. And maybe I'm too uptight, right? Like, it's not my job to take a temperature, but if I go back and forth with you, if you see I'm getting laughs, if I then have another lady and I deal with her and you even deal with her, and if I then take the temperature of the room and then you don't accept that temperature and you say it's all men, and then I say, okay, just the women, and then they give you the answer you don't like, at some point you gotta go, okay, maybe I'm up fucking tight. But no, people don't want to tell me that. They want to just fucking pout, man. And that's where my anger comes from. It comes from poorly raised human beings, enabled beings, these fucking helicopter fucking parents, these pussy parents who raise these softies, but who also don't tell them how to really communicate. People, they just, be cognizant of their feelings. That's fine, but talk it all the way through. Emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence, these people have intelligence of a brain, but not of emotion. And they can't admit it. Let me explain something to you. I was never a pouter. And I had to deal with this one time, and it taught me a lesson, but it also, the nun never learned anything. In 6th grade, nuns would, listen, and this is going to explain a lot to you. What nuns did to me back in the day would be a felony today. It doesn't bother me. Nuns poked me. Nuns grabbed my ears. Nuns used to humiliate me. They would say shit to me. And I'm sorry for anybody I ever argue with. Like, I can be a lot, and sometimes it's more than you bargain for, but it's not it's partly your fault, but it's also my fault, but it's also the nuns' fault, and I don't even know. The nuns coming out, like the nuns, they did fucking PTSD to me. It's not, part of it's your fault for not realizing that you're in the wrong, but the anger comes out from the nuns, and the nuns, I can't even blame the nuns because the nuns are also beaten down by the other nuns and God, whatever the church is. So it's just a system of fucked upness, right? So I never felt listened to. That's why I do comedy. It's probably the number one reason. And so, I don't know. I was in 6th grade, and we're shaped. You get shaped. So these are the stories I'm telling you that come out now, and because this is what happened. So I'm in 6th grade. I don't know. This nun was saying some shit to me and saying some shit. You can't talk back. You're a fucking plebe. You're a piece of shit. You're nothing. You can't fucking talk back. You can't be insubordinate. Insubordination, Mr. Kennedy. So the nun fucking yaps, and I just sit there, and I'm like, the nun goes, oh, look, class, we got a little patty powder. A little patty powder. And I was just not pouting. I was just like the nun hollered at me. I didn't do anything wrong. I was probably talking, which is not wrong, but the nun's boring. What they were teaching me was boring. It's boring. I didn't have the right nutrition. It stunk. Okay, so I'm going to talk to my classmate. That's what, they're more interesting. We're having a good time. We're laughing, okay? None didn't like that. Came over, poked at me. I mean, probably, in 8th grade, I remember the nun almost put my fucking ear off. And to that day, I was as close as I ever came to pinching a nun. I really wanted to fucking get right up on that nun and pinch her. But she got me good, and I wasn't going to do shit because, the nuns are like the LAPD. You don't fuck with a nun, right? Like, it's just, that's the fear of nuns. Nuns got fucking, as I got older, people fought back with nuns, but I never did because, fucking penguins and shit, older penguins, I'm not going to fuck them. But they're strong. So, but nuns start, so they fucking iron fist. And so she's saying shit to the class, and this has happened to me a few times. One day I was upset because they corrected me, and they're like, oh, look, little Jamie's here, but it's a little girl. Her name's Jamila. And, everybody would laugh. And they would do shit like that all the time, and probably how I developed my humor, right, to get out of it. But that's what nuns do because they're not emotionally available. They're fucking servants of what they think God is, and they're just fucking emotionally sex deprived fucking penguins, right? I'm going off the deep end here. I'm going a little Kanye, but tell me if I'm making sense. The nun says all this shit, and don't be a powder, and you're patty powder. Don't be a patty powder. Get it, let it go, let it go, let it go. So there's two things. There's a two-prong thing here. The nun was, I pouted like that, but was it not a real pout? To let the nun know that I wasn't happy with the nun's behavior. I wasn't co-signing what this nun was doing. Fucking bossing me around. So I let her know I over-exaggerated. I'm acting, again, but I'm a great actor. So what I did was fooled the nun. And the nun had to come to me and deal with me. Because the nuns ain't smart enough to realize I'm fucking working them. Okay? Then made the nun deal with me by fake pouting. And the nun didn't realize that I got her attention. And I now was, wanted to know that what she did to me, I didn't appreciate. So nun, even though I have no power, maybe you won't do it again. Well, that's never going to happen because they're nuns. And nuns want to beat you in a submission. So then she, trying to embarrass me in front of the class, calling me patty powder and stuff. But she gave me one piece of advice, and she was like, let it go. Move on. No one likes a pouter. Move on. So it's basically like, don't deal with your emotions. Don't deal with your feelings. Move on. And don't, and just forget about it. And that's how you end up becoming an alcoholic or getting cancer, or you have these feelings and you marry a woman but you sneak into a bathhouse and suck a cock. I mean, these are all different versions of not dealing with your feelings, right? And I bring the last one up because I knew of someone that was in my neighborhood that the dad of the year all the time, and then we all found out that the guy was fucking blowing half the people in the bathhouse in downtown Philly. And all you had to do is just come out, but it's got to be very hard. So the only thing I'll say is what the nun was good at is that she said, let it go. I could never say shit to a nun. So then I go on and I become a comedian. I become a person that's fake importance, someone that's in the room that commands your attention, or on a set and command your attention. $1 million of equipment and crew are looking at me, and if we don't get the shot, I'm in control of it. That's immense ego, right? That's fucking... I'm that worthy, but I'm also very vulnerable and I need your approval or else I'm not worthy of this position that I'm commanding, and then I'm a piece of shit. And I am what the nun said. I'm a fucking bitch, right? So comedy audiences haven't gone through the nuns like I have. They have their own nuns and their own baggage, but I wasn't even allowed to address a nun. And if I'm the nun and you're me, you're stepping to the nun, you're causing, then you're shaming the nun, you're judging the nun, and then you're having other classmates going, leave her alone. So it's I'm the nun, but I'm not, because I'm cool, I'm loving, I'll let you do things, I'm not running a strict class, and yet you don't appreciate it. And I'm you don't understand the fucking detention I could put you in. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm so twisted up and backwards with things, because people don't realize how hardcore I slow key, which was slowly realizing low key how I was raised. I was raised with fucking iron thumbs, man. I didn't want to be. People didn't think they were, and that's humor was to fucking deal with it. Yo, not everybody wants to be a fucking shoe salesman. Okay, people have ideas, they have hopes, they have dreams. I have a fucking heart in here. I don't want to be a fucking lawyer or a doctor. I want to fucking laugh. I want to be on TV. I want to be John Ritter. So they train you and they repress you and they try to take every bit of fun out of you. And here I am. I've been through hell, so I don't want to take you to hell with me. I don't want to take you to Vietnam, but you're treating me like I'm a nun, and I'm not. But if you really want me to be, it can be very uncomfortable for you. So that's kind of how comedy audiences are, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, just leave in the comments. Just be you're a fucking psycho, bro. And that's that. And I blame parents now. My mom, I love her. One day I'm going to do a pod about her death, and my mother would probably, a nun could be hitting me with a ruler, and she's like, what did you do? That's how I was raised. My dad would be like, hey, nun, calm down, Hey, nun, back up, nun. Nun could be choking me. My mom would be like, it's for the Lord. Low key, I'm sorry, Mom. Low key, you took the nun side a lot, okay? That's another reason why I'm the way I am, right? I never felt in a good way, I sometimes look at families and I'm very sad because I didn't have a mom or sisters that would just fight for me because I'm their brother. Like, they're very logical and sometimes cold, and sometimes they'd like to see a nun put a ruler in your ear. Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? So I get sad, but then other times I love the practicality of, if I did do something that was wrong, my mother would be like, you did something wrong. It doesn't matter. You're my son. So that was good. But she low-key simped for the fucking nuns and all that shit. So she's 80% nun, 20%. I mean, if a nun was being unreasonable, my mother would help me. But, you know, if a nun did something, my mom would, what'd you do? I'm really going down the rabbit hole here. All I'm trying to say is these parents today are so soft because they're my generation. Do you understand? They're younger than me. And my generation was beaten into submission, but I didn't submit. You did not kill me. I'm alive, and I am now a variant. And so they want to be so good. Oh, my God, my dad was an alcoholic, and he beat the shit out of me, and so I want whatever I can for you. Like, I get it. Like, I get you want to be the better version of your parents that weren't there for you. But a lot of you are making these kids that think they're fucking Thanos, but they have no authority. They're living in your house rent-free. They're giving wildly uninformed opinions. They are identifying as fucking beach balls. And you're not saying, hey, honey, this is the way it is. Like, some of this is okay, but some of this is just, like, delusional, and we got to talk about it. Like, what happens? Why do you think I moved to L.A. when I did? I could have went to New York. I moved to L.A. because I would tell my family, like, I'm going to be an actor. And my mom, I mean, they didn't hate me, but they weren't. My dad was encouraging. My dad, the big, strong man of the house, sensitive. My mom, the small, sensitive, deep within her fucking outer shell, but, you know, practical, a little negative Nancy when it came to certain shit. So I said, I want to move to Hollywood. Why? I don't know. I want to learn about acting and stuff. Why? How are you going to get a job? I don't care about a job. I'll figure it out. Oh, my God. You're going to do that? Yeah. Well, I didn't get to support. Like, I got some, but, like, people don't encourage me. That's why I ran away. People encouraged me. I basically ran away. And so my mom was like, you're not being practical. You don't live in reality. And then what I do? I'm in Scream. I would never be in Scream if I believed your reality. It is my reality because I made it happen. So then my mother, when I started getting success, she's like, what the fuck is this? This is an alien. This kid's an alien. But if I said to her, your reality is not my reality, okay? So then people can say the same thing about me, like, yo, Jamie, you're being too hard on people because it's not their reality. I'm saying there's truth to that, but you have to realize what a real baseline is, and I would give anyone the platform to convince me of a reality that is hard for me to accept of how it's going to happen. No one ever gave that to me. They just said, shut up, sit down. You're crazy. No one ever took me into consideration. That's why I am the way I am. I'll take anybody into consideration. But now those people are so off the map and on their head that they won't take me into consideration again. They think I'm fucking stuck or old or in my ways or something. So you understand? So it's an opposite angle where I was repressed over here, but then I'm open-minded, but not open-minded enough over here. So now I'm just outdated. Does that make sense? Well, that's a good one. Guys, this is just a rambling rant I didn't mean to do, but they're just fucking subscribe. Stop enabling bad behavior. Be strong. Because I can't, and this isn't for the people that heckle, because those people cannot be reached. I just want to say this. I went and shook all the people's hands who heckled me tonight, and they were all happy except the one lady. Not the first one, the other one. She was so bitter. I'm like, bitch, no comic is going to care this much. Love you. Peace.